Well, welcome back to another episode of Horror of the Worlds, where we talk about horror movies and the influences that the world has had on them and the world around us. I'm Curtis Gerhart.
I'm Stephen Miller.
And today we are talking about those crazy little fuckers.
Yeah.
I like to kind of put these movies in that sub-genre category, like the little monsters.
Yep, I love little creatures. They make a good, funny horror comedy.
They do.
Usually.
And that's the thing. I don't want to really say dolls or little leprechaun.
No.
No offense, leprechaun is his own thing, but he's not really a little monster.
No.
I'll put him in folklore.
I call him folklore, yeah.
Like
a djinn or some shit like that.
Ooh, we got to do that kind of episode.
Yeah, that'd be
like
nice.
a wishmaster, like the genie. All right, well, stay tuned for those because I would love to do a wishmaster episode. When you think of little monsters or little fuckers, what do you kind of think of? What's one of the first movies you would possibly go to?
Oh, I'd automatically go to Gremlins. Mostly because they stuck out in my childhood. The look, the individuality of every single one of them, and the sharp teeth. I mean, as a kid, I saw them as hilarious, but as an adult, I couldn't help but think that maybe that was supposed to be more of a adult humor thing.
Which that's the thing. I've been kind of listening to a lot of people saying Gremlins isn't a horror movie. It's an action flick or whatever, and I'm like, okay, maybe because when I haven't seen Gremlins in a while, I do kind of think of it's not really that scary until the Gremlins actually come, and then it's oh, this is a fucking horror flick.
Well, as anybody that's been overwhelmed at work, that movie, anxiety as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
And when is a good time to feed a gremlin? That's bullshit.
So, I guess a quick overview for the two people that probably watch us that haven't seen Gremlins. A gadget salesman is looking for a special gift for his son and finds one at a store in Chinatown. This is when the 80s still had good old-fashioned racism.
Oh, yeah, that was...
Back when it was more innocent.
Yeah.
It was still very...
No,
racy.
It wasn't Rob Schneider acting as your race, but it was walking a line, man.
It was fun.
Yeah.
But the shopkeeper is reluctant to sell him the Mogwi, but sells it to him with the warning to never expose him to bright light, which is false. So this overview is already lying.
Yeah.
Because it's not the owner that sells him, tells him about it, but I want to say it's a kid that ends up selling it to him.
Yeah.
But all right, and here are the 3 rules. Do not never expose him to bright light, water, or feed him after midnight. All of this happens as a result all of this happens, and the result is a gang of gremlins that decide to tear up the town on Christmas Eve.
It just sounds like he's going to give you something adorable and tell you to starve it all the time.
Right.
No, it doesn't eat, it doesn't drink, it's always after midnight. Don't let it see the light of day.
So that was one of the things that we're going to talk about Gremlins 2 here in a couple minutes, but that is one of the things that there was that joke on Gremlins 2. It's well, when do you feed them? Because it's always midnight somewhere. So if you go into a different time zone, what if you're on the airplane? So they were even aware of it, which what Joe Dante did both of these fucking movies, Mr. Piranha himself.
The guy has a sense of humor for sure.
All right, a little bit off subject, but it kind of goes on to the overview. It is a salesman that goes in. He's an inventor. The dad is an inventor that's trying to sell his inventions, and I'm a 90s kid. I was born in the 90s, early 90s. And I don't know if it was just the 80s when things were just inventive. Because I know...
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was huge, and that's what Dad did.
So that's the thing. There was a lot of inventiveness. Because I know in the 80s you had Reaganomics and all that stuff. Where you had Reagan kind of helped turn the economy around and people were buying more. The rich got more rich. But at that time there was more... they started opening up more job positions. People got raises. People had new positions. Yeah. So that helped out the economy and stuff. So there was more people able to buy stupid shit. Yeah, I'm assuming, which is why that, or I don't know if it's Steven Spielberg, because all these movies, granted, Steven Spielberg did not direct this movie, but he was a producer. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But you always have an inventor, like in a lot of his movies. You have Goonies, where the Asian family is. Everyone's an inventor in that one. The false, like bad inventions, which I could kind of understand if they're Asian. You know, the whole made in China bullshit. You know, like all that stuff's cheap. So I mean, a little bit of racism there, I guess. Their stuff's
for
inferior. Sure. Back to the Future.
Oh yeah.
Not Steven Spielberg, but still under his umbrella, where Doc Brown, he was an inventor, failed at a lot of things.
There's a whole series of that too.
That's kind of the whole. I like the '80s was the year of inventions. I feel like when it comes to
and then they even gave Honey I Shrunk the Kids, Honey I Blew Up the Kids, the ride at Disneyland, Honey We Shrunk the Audience. Like
I feel like I was on that.
I've
done that
definitely done that ride before.
I think I remember that one when I was a kid because it was like a 4D ride.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I remember
it had the little fucking air tanks underneath there that blow on your feet like the spiders and rats and shit.
That's the thing you brought up, the rats. I remember as a kid. This is one memory. Like I don't remember almost anything else about being at Disneyland, except for I was wearing shorts. And we got out of that ride, and I saw a mouse imprint on my fucking leg. So it was like the outline of a mouse. So I'm assuming that they had like a prod with Fuzzy or some shit. But I'm like, that's a mouse.
That's fucking cool.
Just, things stick with you. It is a Joe Dante movie. This came out in 1984. This was one of the movies that helped start off these little creature movies as well.
A lot of them.
So like, there really wasn't much before this. There were like aliens or bigger monsters or a lot of dolls even. Like,
did the Henson Factory have anything to do with the creatures on this?
If
I want to say for one of our other movies they did, because I know my reference for one of the other movies is definitely a Henson product or a Jim Henson Company Muppet Factory.
All right, so who made the Gizmo the Gremlins puppets? Was Chris Wallace.
Oh, okay.
And stuff. So I want to say it was someone else, but I could be getting things mixed up too with other companies, and I don't want to speak falsely on that one, especially when I try to say things that are a little bit more.
I just want to see more of the Brian Henson, the Muppet Factory and shit like that up in our movies more. Like, I mean, I liked watching the Talisman of Souls. I loved watching that because of the puppetry and the creations.
Souls.
Yeah,
not ringing a bell right now.
No. It's Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls.
Oh, okay, yes.
Because they had the gigantic puppets and the animatronics and things like that.
They weren't even giant. Remember that demon at the Burger Shack? If I'm not mistaken, I think he was saying like it was only a couple, like not that big at all.
But it's that kind of stuff. Like that's what makes these little creature movies stand out to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's the movements. It's the hands-on creation.
It's that physicality of it all, because you feel it, and the actors have something to kind of bounce off of. But I mean, that's why these movies lasted. I feel like because there were actual props.
These people take this so seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
which even when they're bad, they're still kind of good.
Oh yeah, can't go wrong.
Nice little tidbit too. Did you were you aware that the voice of Gizmo, the Mogwi, was actually Howie Mandel?
Oh,
Little monster himself.
I want to say that I had an idea of that, but I can't remember where I heard it from, so I wasn't sure if it was true.
Yeah, like I remember listening to, I think it was like on Dead Meat or something like that. They actually interviewed Howie Mandel and stuff, and he said he helped create a voice and a language for Gizmo.
That's fucking cool. That's perfect.
So I guess just kind of.
When I watched Little Monsters, I could barely recognize him. Like, I'm trying to see him in all the makeup, and you can't.
Like in that one, like, I feel like
for a guy that's got like problems with like dirtiness and shit, it must have been hell going through the face paint.
That's when he said like that started really getting worse was in that movie, because like he passed out I think 3 or 4 times from heat stroke because he was in that latex leather jacket, and they were like in a when like the airplane carrier, not the carriers, but the like the studio, so it was already blazing fucking hot, humid as all hell, and he was stuck in a outfit.
Hell no. All right.
So I mean, like, give him props for that movie, and that movie is something that cannot be made today.
No,
100%. I don't know the last time you've seen it, but
probably the last time I seen Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah, no, I do recommend Little Monsters.
Not just because he was Gizmo's voice, but it's a good introduction to monsters for kids. I mean, like when you're talking about
like this is like I feel like
little terrors and shit like that for your children to watch.
It felt like maybe it was just because the age I was at when I was watching this, but it was like always the Lost Boys and Little Monsters.
I did not see Little Monsters till I was a full grown ass adult.
Really?
So yeah, like that one was good to me though.
That was one of the ones where it's like I watched it a little bit like when I was younger, and then I started falling in love with it again when I was older because I understood the jokes and how raunchy and how inappropriate the fucking jokes are.
Ah, whatever. They're perfect.
Yeah, like jokes are fucking jokes.
No, well, it's the same thing with cartoons. Cartoons are made for children. Why are you watching this kids show? Who makes the cartoons?
Adults.
The adults.
Yeah.
So they slip some adult humor in there, man. It's gonna happen.
Well, shit, like there was that whole like one of the little tidbits. I know I'm off a fucking tirade right now. Like like him being a monster, like they're into his bully's house, and whether he's asleep, and he pees in a jar and replaces it with apple juice. You know, there's another little joke like, "Oh, boy's best friend," or whatever, and it's a dog. God. Like he turns his right hand into a dog. Like,
oh no!
So there is masturbation jokes to like kids and all this stuff. So it is a.
That is walking the line, I guess. Sure. Today that is some diddification, I guess. But still,
it's kind of funny how we went from Michael Jackson to now it's the diddler.
Yeah.
You know? So I mean, at least one person did do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jackson. I'm not getting into that conversation right now. If Michael Jackson did or didn't do it, I have my own thoughts on that one. But Diddler did do it.
The Diddler definitely did it.
All right. Jumping back to Gremlins.
Other little monsters, yeah.
Another cool little tidbit is like I always kind of fall in love with a lot of movies that were made in the Universal backlot. And I noticed it a lot with Gremlins and Back to the Future. They use the same courtyard as well.
Shit. All
so
right.
it was like you'll see it in a lot of like Twilight Zone stuff, but it is like the main town in again Back to the Future and Gremlins. It is the same courtyard. You'll see the same pillars for that, the courthouse and all that stuff as well, like the clock tower. So it's just like one of those little things that they've switched up. That's one of the things. I don't know how many times I've been on the backlot tour at Universal Studios, but I fucking love it every damn time.
For some reason, every time I watch this, I forget it's technically a Christmas movie. It's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
But every time I watch it, it's never Christmas. Like I never watched it during Christmas.
I don't know if I've ever watched this like during Christmas.
But I've always watched. I always watched. What was it? Gremlins 2 on New Year's.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why. It's always worked out like that for me. I'm sure it's on TV and stuff, but it's because I don't watch TV. I'm always on a streaming service or.
I wonder if it's like one of those things like during the time frame when it was actually airing, you had Gremlins for the Christmas, so it was already on Christmas, and then Gremlins 2 because you just watch fucking Gremlins.
Yeah.
And it's New Year's.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe
Probably.
there might be again, like you were just saying, this is one of those Christmas movies that is on a lot of people's rotations. You know, oddly enough, I mean, even though like it's not in your rotation, mentally it's in my rotation where I need to watch Gremlins. But
no, I really feel like it's one of those ones. But for me, once again, I'm watching it for the creationism of it all, like the way that they made these puppets, the way that they interacted with them, the fact that the way the actors interact with them, it made it feel so lifelike and so much more fun. Even though they're sitting there wiggling a puppet in front of the screen,
they're scary.
It's very animated style of humor and stuff. I love that for it. But
I think that's it right there, the animated sense of humor, like because these, if you haven't seen this movie, like the puppetry and it's just like the animatronics in this, it is just. Everyone has so much character, and it is just a phenomenal movie. You don't really get much better.
No, it's a new version of lifelike, really.
Mm-hmm. Almost kind of speaking of, I'm kind of curious. Off the top of your head, do you know that whole little jingle from Snow White, the 1930s Snow White, that the dwarves sing?
Yeah.
Hi ho.
Uh-huh.
By chance, do you know like? Are you able to sing that little bit? It doesn't have to be. It could be monotone because I'm not kind of monotone.
No, it's hi ho, it's off to work we go, and that's about where I stop.
That's it. So I am curious if Gremlins is what started Off to Work We Go.
Okay.
Because it is not Off to Work We Go. It's Home from Work We Go.
Oh, okay. Home yeah, because they are packing their shit up and going home.
Yes. So, but in this movie, the Gremlins, if you actually read the captions, they say Off to Work We Go.
Okay.
So I'm kind of curious because
So-
with this movie being as big as it was, maybe this is the thing that
Gremlins sticks out my memory more than Snow White, and that's
Possibly.
a good thing.
I'm curious if this has gotten that in the ether and the zeitgeist, and just kind of became the new lyrics without it being the new lyrics,
possible, man.
like the whole Harry Mandela effect, but I don't know. I want to go. So went into like a little bit of a playful, good introduction to these little monsters, like with Gremlins. Phoebe Cates, murderous, or dad dying in a chimney, and her perfect reason why she doesn't believe in Christmas or Santa Claus anymore. But we're gonna go into.
It's morbid. It's wonderfully
That's the
morbid.
thing. Like, that movie is so
why was that
bright.
undercut so hard? They're like, no. It's no
And
big
just
deal. But
so like blank, and like it's just like everything just slows down, and she
wanna
talks
say
about the horror story.
I think I want to say that I heard somewhere that this movie was supposed to be more violent than it actually ended up being.
I think it
people
was
might have
supposed to.
walked away from the film because they changed it so fucking hard.
I think it was just because it was probably Spielberg and.
How are you
it
going to
just
sell this
being-
as an adult movie with puppets in it? This is for children.
Right. We'll go into this next movie that I feel like not a lot of people have seen, but it is Ghoulies from 1985, directed by Luca Berkovici.
Man, the 80s had a lot of little creatures going on in there, man.
Yes, this is when they were pretty much born and when they died.
Damn, we put them out to pasture the same year. I mean, I feel like they just
Same
got
decade,
bigger.
Well, I mean, that's the thing when you really think about these movies and you start putting the dates on them, they kind of like that's the thing that I love about horror movies, like genre movies, is you could usually kind of lump them in together on like you can see like, oh, this is when they spiked and they dropped, and then you kind of see a couple movies here and they're like, oh, once every 5 or 6 years there's a new movie coming out.
I'm thinking of some of the things that attribute to them. You know what I mean? Like because or contribute to them because there's when did Muppets come out? Muppets were probably like a 70s 80s thing, right?
I think
Late
late
70s?
60s is when Henson
my
was
God.
on SNL.
Oh, okay,
and,
yeah.
Like that's when
He was on the first episode of SNL.
Like he was, yeah. Which I highly recommend on Saturday. That it's on Netflix. I think it's like late night or something like
Yeah.
that. That movie is anxiety inducing. I don't know if you've
Yes,
seen
is.
it yet.
I have.
Oh,
That's
my fucking
that's
God.
one of the things that they nailed every person and how they kind of look. But with Jim Henson and all that stuff, I feel like he brought to life so many other things. Like he made not necessarily made some of these movies, but he stood out in our childhood, and I felt like it just branched off into something else. The little creatures died off or evolved somewhere else because. I know the Jim Henson Muppet Factory had everything to do with the Ninja Turtles, and those came out in '91.
So like that's the thing. I feel like
It went from puppets to animatronics.
like
So
I'm
quickly.
100% for any form of argument. Jim Henson was probably one of the guys that helped not so much modernize, but actually make animatronics that next level. The Stan Winston of things. I mean, leave a comment on your opinion. Like, if you think Jim Henson was actually one of the ones that helped pioneer, like, the next giant leap into
Let's see,
puppetry.
Henson's Horror Factory.
Which I mean, he has his own factory and stuff, and they're still making puppets to this day.
Yeah, Brian Henson's his brother's making shit.
Yeah.
No, but unfortunately, these little monsters like Ghoulies. I really wish
Which
we had more updated versions of it because when they did the Happy Time Murders or whatever it was,
I still need to see that one.
so it brought back my love of puppetry. But now having watched some of these, I'm like, all right, it was like a forgotten love, really.
Unfortunately, there was one movie I watched before that one, and it's Meet the Feebles. I still have not watched it. It's one of those great Lord of the Rings
Oh, all right.
movies. Peter Jackson's I think it's second movie that he made.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, pretty much like an adult version of the Muppets.
Oh shit.
Yeah, if you watch the trailer for it, it is my kind of movie, raunchy as all hell, and something like, why am I watching this? But that's what Jackson's first movies, they were just gross.
I gotta know who made the monsters in every single one of these. That feels like something that I'm gonna be.
Oh, no worries. Feel free to look that up. So the quick overview when it comes to Ghoulies, which this is going to be a mouthful for myself. As a child, Jonathan was almost killed by his father, Malcolm. during a satanic ritual. Pretty badass. After being saved and raised by Wolfgang, who has kept him unaware of his background, Jonathan inherits Malcolm's house and moves in with his girlfriend Rebecca. During a party, he jokingly performs a ceremony described in one of his father's books on black magic, not realizing he has unleashed a small demonic creature known as Ghoulies. Knocked on that oak tree 3 times, speaking, "Thou how not..." I can't remember what he says in earnest, scared stupid, but that's one of the things. So John Carl Buechler was one of the main puppeteers, or the creators of the puppetry.
Yeah, one of the artists. Yeah,
this one was as you guys probably are aware if you follow this channel, like I bring up Charles Band a lot. This is another Charles Band umbrella movie, where it is one of his Empire Pictures movies. So again, Charles Band has done every fucking thing, much like Roger Corman has in one of these movies that's, I want to say, kind of coming up. Maybe not, like, because I want to say like he had an influence in. So yes, Roger Corman also did Munchkins, which is not really horror; it's more sci-fi, just more stupid, raunchy humor.
Right.
So it's more of a college humor, I think, is the term for those '80s movies. But yeah, this one is definitely more of a demonic, almost kind of forgotten movie. This is.
I just realized who made the puppets in one of our other movies. And it kind of stoked me out.
Wait, I think I know. They did it. I know. This is a teaser. Critters 2.
It was the first one. The first one I'm looking at.
I don't think I. All right. Well, that's. Well. All right. Spoiler. But unfortunately, I don't really have much to say about Ghoulies. Like, this one that was more so made based off of the poster. So a lot of the times posters are made as like make a movie off of that. Dolls was one of them.
So that I love it when they do that shit. Tiny inspiration, big blowout.
Make a story.
Good shit. Yeah.
Like the movie Dolls. Like it was a poster where that had the doll with holding the eyeballs.
Yeah.
Like, all right, make a movie off of that. I think that was a Stuart Gordon movie. I could be wrong.
I swear to you, that's one of the reasons why you never judge a movie by its cover.
But we do.
We definitely do.
Especially, we do it off thumbnails now, like streaming. But
yeah,
physical media, you kind of judge them like, oh, this is kind of interesting.
That's how I did that Blockbuster. Oh, this is gonna be good, and then you pop it and it looks nothing like the damn box.
It's better. Rarely. But yeah, this one more demonic, more I guess demonic's like the best way. So I mean, if you're more into like the evil,
I thought Ghoulies was better. Ghoulies
was better.
I liked Ghoulies.
Really?
It was because of the way the puppets looked. I mean, don't get me wrong, there was the fun animated style of the other ones, but Ghoulies in particular was very, I don't know, it just felt more gritty. A little bit more on the adult side of violence.
I could see that. Like a lot of them just kind of remind me of, like, if you made fun of like a fat '70s biker that was bald.
Yeah.
That's because it was like that baby face kind of.
Yeah.
I feel like I could be kind of wrong. I mean, on that end, but I mean, whatever. If you think I'm wrong, leave a like. But no, it is. I don't know how many times I've watched this movie. Honestly, I have watched this movie quite a few times. I forget I watched it like the moment it's over. I don't know why. It's just one of those movies. Like, I know the third one, when they go to college, you have Kane Hodder. That's about the only thing I remember.
Ghoulies go to college. That reminds me of
I know they
album covers and shit. What the fuck?
Dude, it's
Milo goes to college. Ghoulies go to college.
I can't wait until we do a college episode or a school episode. Those are gonna be fun.
Yeah. I got a few of those.
Again, going off the poster artwork, because we kind of went off on our own thing. This was another one where the movie was done, and I think whomever was viewing it was like, "Where's a gremlin or the ghoulie coming out of the toilet?" And they didn't shoot it. I was like, "Why would a ghoulie come out of the toilet?" So they had to go back and shoot that particular scene.
Fucking worth it.
Just for it.
Yes, please, and fucking thank you.
Like, but that's the thing. That piece of artwork has made this movie iconic. I think everyone has seen that. Everyone probably from like the 28 plus, maybe 30 plus, has seen that art, has seen this artwork, and probably hasn't seen this movie. Which at the same time, I could say this movie is a pass, but it's like that one and done.
You're browsing through your streaming service, and it's usually that artwork that's on the thumbnail. So that makes sense.
Unfortunately, I wish I could kind of say more about Ghoulies. I don't really have a lot of information. I know there's a lot out there for it. I just remember it being a Charles Band kind of movie.
It was more of a heavy version of Gremlins. I felt like Gremlins had a more playful storyline, but the characters, the way that they made the characters just looked a little bit more raw to me, and I kind of like that.
So that's the thing. Like there are, I felt like 3 at least big little fucker movies, and that is Gremlins, which the Gremlins, the Mogwis for the most part were pets. Like the Mogwai was a pet and it became bad. You know, I mean, it's almost like when you get a cat.
Right.
You know, that's a cute little kid, and now it's a fucking little alien.
But still, don't fucking feed it too late, and sure as shit, don't get the fucker wet. But
which is a cat, you know. But then Ghoulies ended up being more. They were demons.
Yeah.
You know, they were demonic little fuckers. And then the movie that we're going into, Critters, they were aliens. So each one of these things, this whole triangle of little fuckers, were a different subspecies in ways.
All of them angry as hell. So what stoked me out about Critters is it was the Chiodo brothers that created the puppets. No, they did the first. I just looked it up. It was the first one.
The first one too?
I looked it up and it was they did the Critters. It was specifically Edward.
All right, because I was going to say, because I remember...
For the 86 movie Critters. And so for a minute there, I thought it was the Muppet Factory, Jim Henson's Muppet Factory, because if you were watching the first Ninja Turtles movie, right, that was the Jim Henson Muppet Factory made all the animatronics for it, right? And you see Raphael walking out of a theater done up in his trench coat, and he turns around and he goes, who actually comes up with this shit? And it's Critters on the fucking banner. I was like, that's great, because I love the Critters, and that...
It explains a lot.
Yeah.
This is one of the movies, like, as a kid, I remember being more scared of Critters than almost any of these other ones.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know if I've seen Critters before I've seen Gremlins, or I've seen it way before Ghoulies. Ghoulies I haven't seen until I was an adult.
Well, Ghoulies had a little, what was it? Like, there was a little bit of playfulness with Ghoulies. A little bit, right? But there was also Gizmo in the other one who had a soft side, right? So you're like, okay, they can be cute, but they're just more destructive than they are.
Yeah.
But the Critters wanted to fucking kill you. They wanted to eat you, man.
But they were comical, too.
Yeah, they were comical.
That's the thing. Like, I wish I would have... Like, I don't know how I missed... Because I saw that the Chiodo brothers did the second one. And this, I wrote down the notes, and I remembered it wrong. Wait, I think I kind of remember it wasn't the second one. It was the third one where they actually they wrote the third one. The third one was more of a Chiodo Brothers
whole
like
movie.
ship.
Nice.
Stuff, which when you really kind of start looking at that movie, it makes a lot more sense because that's when Critters became more playful.
Yeah.
Like to say the least. But Critters is... All right, hold on. Let's just get to the overview real quick. So it came out in 1984, directed by Stephen Herrick. When strange, fuzzy creatures from outer space arrive on a farm, the Brown family, Jay, Helen, their daughter April, and their son Brad, which is Scott Grimes, that also plays Steve Smith from American Dad.
Yeah, he plays a lot.
Also, the mom is Dee Wallace, which is a horror icon as well. She's done fucking everything.
There's like a lot of famous people up there.
There is. I have a little list of some of the people that people should know about.
Billy Zane.
But the two bounty hunters. God damn it! I'm trying to read here. This is hard for me. must fend off the malevolent. That word.
Yeah.
Little aliens. Two bounty hunters with superhuman abilities follow their aggressive beast from beyond. But the warriors aren't terribly effective, leaving the Brown family to battle the furballs and rescue April from their clutches all by themselves.
So what made me think about this movie and how it should have been, like, I should have been able to nail the Chiodo brothers like aesthetic, is when one rolls in and they all turn into a big ball of them. I'm like, that is some Killer Clowns from outer space shit, and that is fucking funny to me.
A bigger thing in the second one. So I guess let's go in order real I was bringing up, like, the famous people that you probably should know is Dee Wallace, which I feel like you've seen a movie with her.
The Howling.
The Howling, yes. E.T.
It's probably the least famous of her movies.
No, there was she had a lot of least famous movies, like the 2000s for the most part. Like when she was actually playing more of the junkie mother, grandmother scene, like where they were less famous.
I know mostly from that and The Lord of Salem. Mm-hmm. Like she's always amazing, everything she's in. So.
That's the thing. Like,
and this one,
how big or small the movie is, like she fucking kills her part.
I was surprised she was in this movie when I first watched it. Like, no fucking way. But
again, that's the 80s. Like there were people that we fucking know in these. What the fuck were you doing in that movie? Like,
yeah.
They needed a paycheck. They needed food.
Yeah, why is Steve Smith, right. 6-year-old Steve Smith, up in this movie?
Awesome, Lin Shaye.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, like she's also horror royalty as well. That
she is. I was surprised to see the first time I watched. It was Detroit Rock City, was the first time I remember seeing her.
You remember seeing her?
Yeah, I want to say it was probably before that, but Detroit Rock City was what I like.
That's the thing. I think once when you start knowing who she is, especially I feel like a lot of people know who she is from the Insidious movies. Is it Insidious?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It is Insidious, not the Conjuring movies. But like once you start seeing her in every fucking movie.
Yeah,
I feel like because you start seeing her in Nightmare on Elm Street, which like I think was like one of her.
She
early
plays
films.
Crazy Christian mom pretty fucking well, man.
She does. Like she's that straight edge white woman.
Yeah,
you know that white mom.
You're sinning. What you're doing is a sin.
I wish I wrote down more of his movies, but Emmett Walsh, which like he always kind of plays like that. Oh, again, I wish I would have written down the movie that I remember him kind of from. But he's always plays that cop or the big choppy sideburns.
All right,
like,
yeah.
Kind of like that drunk. I always remember him from Home Improvement because he was Jill's dad. Like he was that World War II vet, I want to say, and he was just like that.
He was to me, he's always been the mouthy veteran old man.
Yeah. Like he was.
Don't you backtalk me, boy.
That's exactly it. Yes, but like you said, Billy Zane as well. Like this movie is fucking chock full, and there was actually surprisingly a lot of humor for how straight this movie is.
Oh yeah, there's so much humor. Looking back at it, I was when I'm watching it, I was like, I don't know if this is supposed to be as funny as it fucking is.
Yeah, like, that's the same thing. I again rewatching it every time. I was like, I forget it's kind of a comedy.
Yeah.
But again, that's kind of 86. So I mean, that was still a little bit before Freddy got funny.
Yeah. Yes.
Because I don't think he got funny until later.
He didn't get intentionally
like
funny. Yeah, some of his scares were just humorous as hell to me.
Yeah, but then he started becoming MTV. Like,
oh yeah, sure.
I mean, sunglasses, the cool Freddy that we all know and love. Also, one of the fun little jokes too is the bounty hunters. Like, I didn't really catch it until I actually was reading on IMDb. So here's some IMDb trivia shit. Their names is Lee and Ugg, which is ugly.
Ugly, yeah,
which is
good.
Just like, a stupid little thing. But the bounty hunters, when they come to Earth, they transform into other people, so they could just hide. So one was a musician, which is like, oh my god, this rock star. But one of the guys transforms into the cop that they accidentally kill. But I love it because even though he transforms into that guy, he still has the blood coming out of his eyes and all that stuff. He transforms into the corpse.
Yeah.
Stuff, so he still looks dead. And that's just, I think, just amazing that they put that level of detail. It's like, not when he is alive. It's like, all he knows is what that guy looks like as that moment.
It surprised me that they were supposed to be the higher intelligent beings. They were just some dumb shit that they did.
They were brutes.
Yeah, to me it was like if Bill and Ted came from outer space. That's what they reminded me of.
I could definitely see that, but more straightforward.
Yeah.
Also, like, again, bringing up fucking Charles Band, you would almost feel like I'm in love with fucking his movies, which I do enjoy. Which Puppet Master is not going on this list because it's not little creatures; they are puppets.
They are They are dressed as dolls.
I mean, it's in the name.
They are They are dressed as puppets and dolls. Yes.
But this movie always kind of felt like a one of that's under Charles Band's umbrella, Laser Blast, which, like, I don't know if you know, or I know you've seen this the artwork for this movie and all that stuff, but they look like turtles without a shell, and they had arm blasters that blasted lasers and all that stuff, and it was just like that weird, I don't know, great stop motion movie. But
stop motion movies give me the creeps, and that's why I love them so much.
I love and hate them because that's so much work. I should say hate. I do love them, but I just don't seek them out because I respect the fuck out of them.
I definitely seek them out. James and the Giant Peach it was supposed to be a fucking kids movie, but it gave me the creeps, and I watch it to this day going, this is a creepy ass movie. It's darker than it should be for a kid. Like, even for a Disney movie where they're notoriously killing off the mom in the first 10 seconds of a fucking film, Disney, this movie would, like, creep me out. So now I'm, like, obsessed with the stop motion. I love Coraline. I love all that shit. There's a game out right now. I can't remember. It was Something Midnight Dark or some shit like that. But the whole video game was made with stop motion animation style, and you're pretty much playing a claymation character, and you're hiding from, like, nightmarish characters throughout the whole thing. It's fun.
I think I know what you're talking about. I should say I know what you're talking about. I feel like I've seen images of this video game.
Yeah.
To be fair, the one I'm talking about, I wanted to bring up was Primevals. If you have an opportunity to see this, if I said it in the Charles Band episode, I know you weren't on it, but seek this movie out. If you enjoy stop motion just a little bit, check this movie out because it is so fucking phenomenal. Like, I 100% recommend this movie. I guess some more fun with Critters because this is a movie that spawned off 4 sequels.
Yeah.
Because they had
no, and they're still making them, bro. Like, I think they just dropped another one like 3 years ago or something like that.
Which I don't really care about. That one's Critters Attack, and it was
garbage.
It was too woke for me. Like, I'm okay for movies being woke, but not when it's shoved in my face. That's when I'm just like...
That's what I liked about the newest Texas Chainsaw Massacre, is that it was people being sick of woke being shoved in their face, and they're like, well, I'll just chop its head off because I don't care. I'm a mass murderer. Fuck you.
It's like when Marvel movies got to that point where it's like, women power. It's like, you can make women strong without making it obvious.
Yeah.
You know, like, you don't need to make things obvious to make it right. Just makes it wrong.
But Wonder Woman was kinky. Just throwing that out there. She's tying you up with the lasso of truth. Now tell me all your dark secrets.
That's the thing, though. Like, if you actually look at, like, Wonder Woman's history, like, she was the one that was always being tied up and all that stuff. She was like a BDSM.
Yep, but like, I think the creator of it was Polly, and like.
Yes.
Like, there was a whole sex thing going on behind. Check that shit out. I'm pretty sure that's on Netflix or something like that.
Oh, I think
it's like there's like a history of Wonder Woman. It is fantastic. Nothing to do with puppets or little fucking creatures, but still great.
As you're pretty much aware that we do kind of go off on these tirades. If you don't like it, leave a like. I don't know. Fucking people are doing this on fucking. But yes, Mick Garris did Critters 2, directed Critters 2, which is another one where they started getting into these balls becoming giant fucking balls, which is an Easter movie as well.
That feels like an Attack of the Killer Tomatoes kind of thing. I remember the cartoons being something like that, and that's what it felt like when I watched it.
Dude, that's the thing. I think this is when it became more comical. It was definitely Critters 2, because the first one, I loved it where I think where the critters actually came up on the porch step, and the mom had a shotgun, and like, oh, what are you gonna do with that? And mom actually blows and when the critters fucking explodes, and the other guy's like, fuck, or like, oh shit, and just goes in the ball and rolls off. I'm like, awesome.
That is good. What is the deal with that? It feels like they were on a roll with that shit, and it was anytime they make one movie, the original is dark as fuck, but it was still for children, right? And then they're like, you need to lighten this up, and then the second one got even better. They tried to do the same thing with the Ninja Turtles, and the second one wasn't as good. They're like, the first one was too dark. Like, it felt like they were on a roll with that, and then it just
I think that's one of the biggest issues.
The 90s is where sequels started sucking, or something like that.
Almost feel like that's just how the whole thing goes. Like, oh, we made a lot of money. Now we got to go to the masses. And I was like, no, it became big because you played to the weak, the minorities in a sense. So it's like, impress them, they'll be happy, and more people will come.
Yeah.
You know, it's just...
It's a waiting game. But you can't do that with blockbusters when you make your money in the theater.
I mean, I haven't seen it, so I can't speak harshly on it. Is the whole Megan thing. The first one was more of a gateway horror, and the second one I've heard is more of a sci-fi action. Except because they were just trying to...
I want to see it for the comedy spin on it, but
I
would love to see Megan versus Chucky or some shit like that. I think that'd be fucking cool.
They need to do something. Like, unfortunately, I don't think it might not be a Megan 3, but who knows? I mean, there probably will be. You know, it might go back to its roots. Who fucking knows?
Doubtful.
Critters 3 had, like I was going to say, his more Ricciotto Brothers wheelhouse, and Leonardo DiCaprio's first feature movie. Like,
he
was in
God.
a couple episodes, like TV shows, but this was his
Was
first
that
movie.
before? Oh, all right. I was about to say, because I know he was in Growing Pains.
Yeah,
right?
So,
so I don't know. I'm pretty sure Growing Pains came first, and then he was in
this.
that. Yeah, right.
So it's like that's why I'm specifying feature film that I'm aware of. So it's like he was in a couple other stuff, like an episode of another, like one of those kids like Howdy Doody show type.
Yeah.
Like, I want to say.
It's funny you say that. I just watched Django Unchained today. That was.
Yeah,
Leonardo DiCaprio was fucking hilarious.
That's one of the ones I've been like almost edging myself to watch again, because we just started watching Furies. I'm like, I fucking love this era of Brad Pitt, because I know it's not Django, but Quentin Tarantino going into Inglourious Bastards, which I've been wanting to watch Inglourious Bastards again too. It's just something about that Brad Pitt era.
It took me about 10 years before I wanted to pick up Fight Club again.
Really?
Yeah.
10 years?
Because I fucking watched the shit out of it.
I can understand that. It's actually
I really like the whole punk rock anarchy thing going on with it. And I'm like, okay, I've watched this to death. And then it came out on streaming recently. And I'm like, no, let's watch it again. Now is the time.
I feel like
for that kind
more
of
like
vibe.
I think that's one of the things, like, that movie kind of gets me amped up. Like, not so much starting a Fight Club, but it's like, you know what, that whole anarchy, like,
let's burn it down. Yeah.
Let's start this fucking world over again.
Yeah.
Which we're off on a lot of fucking random shit today.
That's all right.
Another cool thing about Critters.
More aliens attacking, yeah.
They shoot poison fucking darts. Do you remember this?
I don't remember that at all.
I always forget until they actually end up, like, they go in a ball and they fucking shoot darts. I'm like, I forgot that they actually shot projectiles and
That's
stuff.
some weird Indiana Jones shit.
And it's like, I don't know why, but it's just like kind of crazy. And they also turn into a giant critter in this movie as well. So that it's like not so much even just these little guys. They end up becoming a giant. I think it was like a 12-foot fucking critter as well.
Yeah, you became a part of it, or you died because of it.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Critters is a must see.
I'd agree. That one definitely. I mean, if you haven't seen Gremlins, what the fuck are you doing? But Ghoulies is one of those ones I didn't see till later on in life, and Critters, I was surprised I didn't see it sooner.
I feel like Critters and Gremlins are kind of like on par with each other in a weird way. Like, I'm not gonna say like one's better than the other, but I felt like they're equal. Like, one is obviously more financially successful, you know, and
one had
more to the broader
one had
audience.
Steven Spielberg backing it. Mm-hmm. He was a big name at that time, so I mean.
Also, another movie with Dick Miller in it.
Okay.
You gotta love some Dick. But one movie that is a must see, and all right, I probably shouldn't say it's a must see. It's a must see to watch. Like, you must watch this movie while watching Mystery Science Theater 3000 version of it, because this is how I came across this movie and how I actually really enjoyed this movie. I think I watched it once on its own, and I could see why no one knows about this movie and doesn't like it, and why it didn't do good. Is Hobgoblins.
All right.
So I mean, this movie came out in 1988. We're getting to like the tail end of these small little critter fuckers. Overview: a group of tiny lethal creatures end up going to a terrifying rampage after escaping from a studio vault. You know, it is directed by Rick Sloan, which he makes a lot of grimy is not the word, like low budget wannabe softcore porn type of movies.
All right, yeah.
So I mean, like, they're not like,
It's the good stuff.
yeah, they're not like extremely scantily clad, but I mean, they're along those lines. Yeah,
July 14th. Nice. All right.
I've tried to seek out if anyone's ever reproduced these puppets. I want one of these puppets because they're just like little Yeti looking fucking stuffed animals.
I know you can find the critters, but I haven't seen any of these. But they do look a little... I like the way they look. They look like miniature werewolves.
Yes, that's why I said like Yetis, werewolves, like they're like crazy little things. Like this movie
They're
is
fucking ugly.
a fucking mess of a fucking movie to begin with. It is guerrilla shot. It feels like a guerrilla shot movie.
This is the kind of shit, like, when we're talking about remaking films, why are you remaking things that are already good? Remake shit like this. Like...
You can't, though, because like they know that that movie won't make money.
No,
I want to see a Hobgoblin movie with more money. I would love to.
I feel like it's all about who you put into it, and I feel like there's a lot of people out there just trying to have fun with their acting careers. Mm-hmm. Some people would make this shit go off because Toxic Avenger.
Yeah,
I mean, is that still a Torment movie? The remake?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's
but that's a prime example. Like, you have Peter Dinklage, who has definitely nothing to prove at this point. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And he took over as Toxie, which is probably one of the...
That is a huge spoiler because I didn't realize it until I accidentally watched some of the trailer. I'm like, fuck, he's actually Toxie?
I definitely... No, they're probably going to up the gore.
I'm hoping. I mean... You got Kevin Bacon in that movie. You got Elijah Wood.
See what I mean? And it's one of those movies when you first watch that movie, nobody. There were a bunch of fucking nobodies, right?
But that's a trauma movie too.
Yeah, sure.
Like, there are a lot of I don't know if I've been wanting to do a trauma episode or at least a
Toxic episodes.
No, that's what.
Because I really wanted to watch the Toxic Crusaders. I haven't watched the animated thing, but a
Lloyd Kaufman episode at least. I would want to do at least because I guess you can't really do a Lloyd Kaufman without doing a trauma episode. But
there's so many of those movies that are worth watching.
The thing, like, there's a lot of actually great directors that came from trauma. Yeah, I mean, some of the most famous ones is like Joe Lynch and like James Gunn, the two that come to my head,
right,
and stuff. So I mean,
but if you were to take some of the people that were children during some of these movies and switch them over and remake the movies like Hobgoblins and put the cast that was in Critters in Hobgoblins, I think you could have a lot of fun because they have done nothing but get better at their fucking jobs. Like, they are amazing actors now.
I think that's the one thing
they
too,
were
like,
then, but
with this movie, they were stuffed animals. They weren't puppets. Like,
that's fair. But
so
that's what I'm saying. We could,
I don't know if I have.
If we handled it in more of a Chucky-like manner.
It was pretty much them just going, oh, hi, oh. Like, that was pretty much it. Like, it wasn't even a little mouth moving. It was just them under the thing just moving. So that was Hobgoblins.
Cheap animation.
It's not even animation. Like, but this, oh my God, this movie is so bad, but it's so good because of how bad it is.
I love that.
Which Mystery Science Theater makes this movie a fucking 10. It's a must watch. Especially, I mean, it's a fucking must watch on that end.
It sounds like one of those movies that I mute and put on metal or something like that.
Honestly, this movie, holy shit, that might make this movie really fucking crazy. But all right, whatever. Let's move on from Hobgoblins because there's really not much to say. Like, fucking go on IMDb and fucking read about it. Like, there is some kind of cool info about it, but it's just watch it. Go on YouTube. You know, and I think there's that MST 3K episode on here. Again, we're kind of not so much ending, but the one that kind of started this genre, Gremlins, kind of also ended it and also kind of just made these little creature movies like that's famous. And again, the one that started it and ended it, Joe Dante, Gremlins 2, which this one came out in 1990. So
Yeah.
pretty much only, I mean, you have 6 years of these movies coming out. Before we get into Gremlins 2, which this is a very fun Gremlins movie, the one thing that Ghoulies, Hobgoblins, and Critters all have in common is they all were being made and all was trying to be come out before Gremlins. Before Gremlins was a thing, all these movies were supposed to come out before Gremlins.
Really?
Gremlins ruined it all.
Whatever.
Like, and that's a funny thing. Like, you read about it and stuff. You always hear these interviews, like with some of the directors or the writers, like, "Oh, the movie, like this movie was written before Gremlins was even a fucking thing." I'm like, you probably just didn't know about it because you were fucking no one, or sometimes movies are just kind of out there. Like everyone has the same idea at the same time.
Right.
But yeah, Gremlins 2. This is the one that is set in New York. Gizmo is long gone because the Asians took him back. It is, but with these, again,
I feel like with the Gremlins themselves, they got more character in the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, was it Stripe? That's my favorite one, the one with the mohawk.
Oh, he was in the first one. Like Stripe was like.
Yeah, he was kind of the ringleader in the second one, wasn't he? I mean,
I could be mistaken.
that one had a lot of them, like the Flasher and shit like that were in the
names
first
in it.
one, but
Yeah, there's still that one I would love to get a replica of, is like the Bat
oh, right.
like the Bat Gremlin. But Kay and Peele did a skit on how Gremlins 2 was formed, and according to Joe Dante, it's actually quite fucking accurate. Where
it's even better.
they have, I think it's was it? I think it's like Jordan Peele was actually playing Joe Dante. I could be wrong. I can't remember who. Like, one of them was playing Joe Dante, and it's like he was just trying to sell Gremlins 2, and it's like all the directors or the heads of the company were there, and it's like, yeah, each one of you guys gets to create a gremlin. I was like, I want a gremlin that's a tomato that's made out of veggies. Yes, and it's like this, and like, so it was just like whoever had an idea got a gremlin out of it. Also, one of the things that's kind of cool that I kind of forget about, Christopher Lee was in this movie.
What?
Yes.
I didn't remember that.
He was like the head scientist.
Okay. Little
He
for
played a small part, but it's,
little for Christopher Lee.
that's the thing. Like, this is like, I feel like one of his like forgotten roles.
I love it when big time actors do shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Just a small little. I'm pretty sure he showed up for the day and did his 20 lines and like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah, right.
Where's my 500,000? But yeah, so this movie was more action packed. This was not really a horror movie. This is like, they brought the comedy into it. They were stuck in a skyscraper, and you had an electric fucking gremlin. You had things were more fantastical for the most part, which this is more of a. It's fun.
No, it was 100% fun. This is one of those. Did it have an animated series?
So they did Gremlins. I think it was called Gremlins on HBO Max. This was fairly recent. I think they just did season 2 like last year.
Well, that makes a little bit more sense. It's just the way it was done. It had a very animated style, and even after, movies like The Mask. I mean, it was already a comic, but when they made an animated series, it's like kids are paying attention to that shit more. It just feels like Gremlins.
They did the same thing with Ace Ventura. I remember watching that cartoon.
With all the little characters and stuff like that, it feels like this is a surprise it wasn't more.
I always kind of forget that even like Critters had a TV show. I think it was like only like a 8 episode TV show, but a lot of these kind of spun off and did their own things. Like they had cartoons, like you were talking about Toxic Crusader. Gremlins didn't have anything till fairly recent, which I think Gremlins 3 is in the works, like an actual third movie.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes had an animated series.
I think they did. They had a video game from Nintendo or on the NES, which I think I own that one too.
See, they had this is one of those ones that they say it ruined everything, but it clearly not everything.
Well, that's again, I know I'm not a huge history buff in the sense of being able to remember everything, especially like political side of things. So I mean, but with what I've read, it seems like Reagan kind of helped boost the economy where people are just spending fucking stupid money. Like, I don't know if you remember, I mean, shit, you had Cabbage Patch Kids.
Like like Cabbage Patch Kids are fucking creepy to me, bro.
Those things were fucking famous. They fucking sold everywhere in the mid 80s. But you know who made fun of those? Money. Garbage Pail Kids.
Garbage Pail Kids were the shit.
Yes.
Dude, I love that.
So, and they made a movie off of that too.
Yeah?
Yeah, like that movie is one that you can't find for under like $50 for the actual movie itself. And it is just like the cards and stuff. So it is another fun little like 80s throwback where, or like, I think
I
it's
have
like
a
90s,
signed copy of, I think it's talking about the creation of the Garbage Pail Kids.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. DVD. It was pretty cool.
I know that's the thing. I would actually like to like do more about Garbage Pail Kids. Mad Balls.
Oh God, Mad Balls! They're the shit. They're coming back too.
They kind of came back.
They have this. They have now. They're like a Mad Ball, but it's a full figure. I want to get the werewolf one, of course. But the head's the ball, and then it's yeah.
So I mean, you had all these weird little ugly. Like I feel like the '80s were just like those
fucking grotesque. Like I have a stuffed animal that is definitely like you are a product of the '80s. That's what you chose. Yes, it's so scary. It scares my nightmares.
There was,
and I love it.
Let's see if I could try to pull it up so you could see it because I feel like you might have seen it, but these things are actually coming back as well, or they're attempting to come back because this was Mattel called Hobgoblins.
Oh yeah. Oh my God! Yeah, there was a clown on it. It looks like a stripper with bad makeup on.
But yeah, so that's the one thing. Like the '80s kind of had these small little alien creatures, things to begin with. So I felt like
those are like puppets too. So yeah, they're fucking creepy.
Like you had the little things that you put on your finger and stuff that had like the little arms.
Yeah.
Like the '80s.
I had one of those on my Bronco for the longest time. I put it on the lighter. You know, you push in the lighter.
Dude, that is a great spot for it. Holy shit, yeah. Actually, I think there's that clown one, like Ding Dong.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I want.
That's the one that's affordable. But yeah, those things Hobgoblins are coming back. I feel like '80s and the early '90s was like that nice Ren and Stimpy grotesque fart.
Yeah, it was
ugly,
all right to be gross. Yeah,
like it was like boys are gonna be boys, you know.
And
like,
that's what they meant by disgusting little shit.
And they brought those movies.
And they made those movies. And I feel like some of it's making a comeback in a way because I like some of the newer things that are coming out because it's walking the line just right. It's more of a I'm going to be disgusting and do what I want to. Let's fight the system.
People are being a little bit less offended.
Yeah.
Or the people that were offended are being more so hushed, you know, and you're getting, you know, like Garbage Pail Kids were trying to make a comeback. You know, I think they're called like Craniacs or something like that. The Hobgoblins are trying to come back. You have another movie that just recently came out on Shudder, not sponsored. Frankie Freako.
Frankie Freako is one of my
like an
fucking
80s
favorite.
Grotesque.
It definitely
demonic.
With the way that it looks and the way that it's set up. The way that it was filmed, I thought I was watching something that was filmed 30 years ago and just put out there in the media.
Again, I'm bringing up Charles Band. This feels like a weird version of, like a monster's version of Puppet Master.
Yes.
Like this feels like a Puppet Master movie.
Did not score high, but I really like this movie. No, it needs to be fucking seen by the world.
So this is, like, again, this one came out in 2024. Overview is after calling a late night party hotline, which that's what makes this feel like an 80s thing, like almost like the Girls Gone Wild type of thing. Like, oh, call 1-800. I wish I would have written down what that whole thing was. Call 1-800 Frankie Freako or something like that. But call this hotline that promises out of this world fun. Uptight yuppie Connor Sweeney must battle the pint-sized forces of evil that get unleashed through his phone line, led by a maniacal rock and roll goblin, Frankie Freako.
This shit's punk as fuck. Though, so the three motherfuckers that escape are pretty much trying to fight the oppressor of their world in what is it, Freako Land or Freako World, whatever they call it. It is a very, very crude dialogue. and it is fun. Like you really can't get enough of this. The creator of these puppets was Steven Kostanski. He was actually influenced by things like Ghoulies 3. So I mean, it shines through with the puppets. I felt like when you're looking at Dottie in particular, that's the only female puppet. She reminded me of Puppet Master,
which she was an awesome like cowgirl, like badass. Like that's
my favorite one was I want to say his name was Dim. I can't remember. He's like Shabadoo.
That's the only word there. Like Shabadoo.
Oh, Shabba, don't please. He gets his ass beat.
That's the thing. Like he was like the cool like Terminator like android.
He was supposed to be the tech savvy one out of all of them. Yeah.
And then you have like the hot chick, the cowgirl. And then you had Frankie Freako, that was a demon. Like whenever a cross was in front of him, he turned into a full-fledged demon.
Yeah, I love that. It was good.
But yeah, this is like the acting. So Connor, the main actor in this movie, plays this part so freaking well. Where I fucking hated him because of how straight edge he played.
Oh God, yeah.
Like he was just annoyingly a goody two-shoe, as vanilla as you could get.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm vanilla, but I guess I mean,
no, you'll put pineapple on pizza. This motherfucker puts a different cheese. His night of excitement is ordering pizza.
You not put sauce on the pizza, just like put the bread and a little bit of cheese and pepperoni, like just
holy shit! Like it doesn't even cuss.
Yeah, like no seasoning.
The nerdiness of it all kind of reminded me of Tammy and the T-Rex in a way, with the very very cheesy direct kind of way of addressing a character. You know what I mean? There wasn't much of a change with the main guy, and I kind of like that because at the same time he was a little bit more funny at the end. Yeah, his cheesiness made it more funny.
Like by the end of the movie, you kind of fell in love with him in a way.
Yeah,
like it was still kind of a little bit annoying, but like you grew into his humor. Like even when he was kind of doing the whole. I don't really want to like ruin this movie. So there,
it's like if Ned Flanders decided to be Duke Nukem, and refused to cuss.
Yeah, that I can't think of a better analogy right there. Like that is pretty much it. Like I just remember, I love the whole thing on something that happens near the end, and he's trying to distract him, and he's just being coy, like, "Oh, come over here, big boy," and he's like, "What?" He can't even like just like he's like disgusted with some of the actions that he's doing.
Oh, there was so many things that didn't make sense, and it was just set up for comedy in that movie. Mm-hmm. Like who puts glue on a top shelf?
It got so comic booky on that end.
Yeah.
And you have the guy like, and he doesn't die for I think 3 months.
He's just in the basement.
He gets his foot stuck in like I think a bear trap or something like that.
Yeah.
And while Connor trips over one of like 5 strings that is a Rune Goldberg fucking trap
for a gun to go off.
Shoot this 50-gallon barrel of glue, and that glue drops on the guy that has stuck in the bear trap, and he is stuck there for the rest of the movie.
And it felt like he was probably the most pivotal character out of all of them. I mean, other than the freaks themselves. Yeah. The freakos, as they like to be called. It was the best. My favorite part is when they went to Freako Land or Freako World, and it was their boss when he turned and started getting all weird and shit. That's when the dialogue was comical, like I feel like that's really comical.
Like they felt like because you had I'm throwing a freaking blank on a lot of these things right now. Because there is another sci-fi movie where the cyborgs kind of feel really reminiscent of, like when they go to the Freako World and stuff, like the mafia robot kind of androids. I felt like that kind of gave me that vibe of some of the later Puppet Masters as well.
It reminded me of Small Soldiers. You remember that?
No,
the little action figures that came. Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones. Like that's what those guys kind of reminded me of. Is the
such a good movie.
Yeah, is the actual bad guys.
How come that movie never got a sequel?
Watch it again. The same reason Indian in the Cupboard didn't. It
sucked ass.
It could have been better. It had every reason to be amazing.
It had such a banger cast.
It should have been better. Well, not Indian in the Cupboard. That was just really weird. But
I loved Archer and all that stuff. I was like, the good guys on that one.
So weird.
God damn it.
But yeah, no, it has
another Joe Dante movie. As well. So I mean,
it had every bit of nostalgia that you wanted from your childhood, in my opinion, for Frankie Freako.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised with it. I kind of watched it on the whim, and I was like, is this going to be about puppets or is it about demons? Because when you read it, it says demons. And they treat the puppets like demons, and that's what makes it so much fun. Just like if you were to walk on to a set, apparently, from what I've heard, if you walk onto the Muppet set, they treat the Muppets like people.
That's what I've heard.
Like
too,
like Miss Piggy is the star, and when you're in her presence, you're just Miss Piggy. Like, it's weird. It's almost like a cult. It's kind of cool though.
What is it like a cult nowadays? Like, oh boy, I have stories here. Hopefully soon. Which maybe I probably can't even tell the stories, but I never signed an NDA or any of that stuff. But yes, this Frankie Freako is a fucking punk rock of a little fucker puppet kind of movie.
When I watched it, I was thinking of oh shit, was Drop Dead Fred the whole time. Drop Dead Fred was about an imaginary character, and the guy that played Drop Dead Fred was very, very punk, in my opinion. He was a hilarious comedian.
I was expecting that. I know it's kind of probably ruining the movie. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you've stayed this long, subscribe, because from here on out, I'm gonna actually kind of spoil the movie a little bit. I was really surprised that near the end, like, they weren't imaginary. I was
like he wasn't like he didn't get hit in the head by one of those weird sculptures or something and didn't just pass out
like that, or like oh yeah, like Frankie Freako. Like,
no, the ending kind of surprised me too.
That it was
with the wife.
Yeah,
like I was like, what the fuck?
I got these guys for you.
College roommate? Like, what the hell? Yeah.
So it was just. It was a good surprise.
It was good. It was funny.
And that's the thing. We're finally kind of getting that.
I had one of those kind of endings. It was fucking cheesy.
That's this kind of whole movie too. Like I think Connor was even like, "Oh, I got some plans for you." And she's like, "Oh, I have some plans for you." And he's like, "Oh." And it's like you finally think like, "Oh, he's out of his shell," and it's like, "No, he's still in his shell."
He's still in his shell.
Oh, fucking hell, dude! Like,
wasn't there a number to summon the demons? Like 1-800. Go to hell, Bridget.
Okay.